Because in the scary times, God is there. And if we stop and listen, often we'll realize he's there more than we did in the not so scary times. We'll notice he's there. I can't help but think of Elijah. Now, Elijah was a great prophet. If you remember from 1 Kings, he was a great prophet. He was a prophet that really didn't have a lot of fear at times. Here was a guy that was so bold that he confronted the queen Jezebel, who was not a godly woman, who was getting the whole country of Israel to worship idols, specifically idols of Baal, who was the Canaanite god, and there were many different Baals, and they would worship these Canaanite gods. And so, remember what he did? He says, "Okay, Jezebel, I want to prove to you which God is real. We're going to go down and we're going to have an offering, and whichever person calls God fire down from heaven from God will know who is the real God." So the prophets of Baal, they built the altar and they started dancing around and doing all sorts of things and praying, and fire didn't happen. And Elijah was kind of teasing them. He was saying, well, maybe your God's on a trip. Well, that's because it was traditionally one of the Canaanite Baals that God would supposedly go on trips and wouldn't be around. Or maybe your God's sleeping. Another one would do that. He kind of taunted him a little bit, and they tried and nothing happened. So what did Elijah do? He built an altar, he dug a trench around it, filled water around it, put water on the altar, and it was wet. It was so clear that if fire came down, only God did it. And he prayed and asked God to show himself real. And God did, and the fire came down from heaven, consumed the altar and all the water around it. The reaction from Jezebel was, I'm going to kill you. Now here was a guy who just saw God do a great miracle. What happened? He got scared. And he ran. And he ran several days. And of course, I know I'm condensing this down. I'm giving you the Reader's Digest version. Go back and read 1 Kings 19 and 20, and you'll see. And he was petrified, and he got to a spot where he felt the Lord wasn't there. That the Lord came and reminded him, look, not only are you there, but there are several hundred back there that are still wanting to serve me. You're not alone. If Elijah, being a godly prophet that he was, can get fearful in a scary situation, and if Jacob could, certainly we can and will too. So what do? What should be our response? Our response should be praying for protection with confidence. Why? Because God has a plan for us. We see this in verses 9 through 12. Jacob did pray. He said, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, the Lord who said to me, return to your country, to your family, I will be with you. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and truth which you have shown to your servant, for I crossed over Jordan with my staff, and I now become two companies. Deliver me, I pray." A few things about Jacob's prayer. First of all, he did the right thing. When facing danger, what did he do? He looked to the one who can help. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't use resources God gives us. We certainly do. It doesn't mean we don't use the training that God has given us to go through difficult situations. We do. But the sovereign God who's over all is the one who helps us through those situations, no matter what they are. We need to seek him. We need to pray. My mom taught me a chorus when I was little. I don't even remember. All I remember is the one line, "Why worry when you can pray?" And had a lot of good points to it.